Greetings, I'm Laura Pucha Valtorta. Welcome to a new episode of my short story podcast, B is for Bisexual, Season 3, Episode 9, a story entitled Bobbert. And let me tell you, she is one of my favorite characters. This series of stories is about a commune of Americans who have moved to Oaxaca, Mexico several years earlier to escape the military regime in the U.S. Reading and playing with me today are my son, Dante.
Hello.
And my husband, Marco.
Buongiorno.
And let me tell you, I really appreciate my family helping me with these podcasts. A shout out to our daughter, Clara, who lives in Alabama with her family. Hey, Clara.
Ciao, Clara.
We love you. I'm an attorney and a content creator. Several of my latest films, such as AI and the Family, Zoom Hit, and Bermuda, are available on the streaming channel called Fawsome. That's FAWESOME.TV. My films are also available on Amazon and Tubi and other channels such as OTT. A shout out to my beloved listeners in Frankfurt, Germany, Los Angeles, California, Columbia, South Carolina, and Stockton, California. Dear listener, we live in perilous times. Keep fighting and act with integrity. Bobbert was not the kind of person who took quietly to being bossed around. That day long ago, when her husband hit her, had been the day she screamed and left at the age of 25 with 2 small children. Now she was 65, living in Mexico on a commune, and recently put in charge of the mezcal production. Life was large. She was a person who loved change, loved experimentation, loved adventure. Losing weight, a lot of weight, would be better for her health, but until then, she was not going to let the physical hugeness of her body stop her from living. In some ways, she enjoyed being large. Anyway, she had lost a few pounds working the donkeys. But where was Marge, the love of her life? Marge, who was large in spirit.
I don't know.
Bobbert said to Marge over the phone.
I can't return to America right now. Mexico me está trabajando muy bien. Me encanta la cultura mixteca. Come back, Marge. Vuelve, Marge. Te quiero.
Phone conversations with Marge were usually short and unsatisfying.
Not enough black people in Mexico,
said Marge.
I need to make things right in the United States, where I come from.
Bobbert felt as torn as a ripped sheet of paper. Mexico or Alabama? Peebles and Oliver treated her like a relative. She was a relative in spirit. Her children visited her once a year in foolish Frou-Frou Cabo, where Bobbert looked and felt like a hot air balloon. She wore her usual bejeweled jeans or flowered pants, orange and red, yellow and purple, brown and royal blue. Her children got all suntanned, then left. Back on the farm near Oaxaca, she pulled her weight. She ate what Bunny and Celadine cooked, even though their pies were nowhere as good as Marge's. She added a touch of country charm to Lavinia's Disobedience podcast.
Here in Mexico,
she told the listeners,
I feel like Mitt Romney's grandma. Viva la Mexico. I'm like Louis C.K.'s abuela. I'm that Mexican.
Lavinia's audience always tripled the number when Bobbert was a guest. The listening public loved her country voice. Lavinia gave her a hug afterwards. You are my best guest, Bobbert. The biggest, the largest, the funniest. And then during the scorching hot summer, they all welcomed Honey and Diesel to the commune. They would bring news of Marge.
You don't resemble Bunny the student no more,
she told Honey.
With those flower clothes and that blue hair, you got a glow of your own, honey girl. And who is the guy?
Diesel Tedesco, son of Slim.
he said, shaking Bobbert's hand.
Thanks for letting me keep at your house.
Kip?
Oh, sorry. Sleep and hang out. I watch a lot of British TV.
Diesel seemed as eager as a nervous lizard to dive into Mexican culture.
Gracias por recibirme en su casa.
De nada.
Said Bobbert.
No es mi casa, es nuestra casa.
Diesel is so smart with languages, said Honey.
We'll see.
Said Bobbert.
Wait until he samples my mezcal. Where is Marge? I thought Marge was coming with y'all. Anyway, I was hoping.
Marge is stuck in the U.S., said Honey. See, she thinks she's going to save the entire country.
She won't.
Said Bobbert.
She cannot change the world all by herself.
Honey and Diesel got settled into the barn house. By then, the commune had established 3 houses on the property, and Bobbert shared the big house with Bunny and Lavinia. Celadine usually stayed with Oliver in the new place, and Peebles took the barn. But at night, all of them moved around a lot. When Oliver felt horny, he packed a rucksack and wandered over to the barn. Celadine often spent the night with Lavinia. With Peebles now camping in the kids' bedroom with Celadine and Oliver, Bobbert wondered what would happen. Would they all be thrust into the center of an Ira Sachs movie? Do-do-do-do! Bobbert loved her days making mezcal. Oliver, Bobbert, and Peebles had hired a team of men and women to chop down the stalk and strip off the cactus leaves. This took a lot of heavy work with axes and machetes. In September, because they were in the mountains, they deposited the piñas into a giant hole, lay big rocks on top, and smoked the agave. Bobbert watched the fire and meditated. Afterwards, when the piñas were extracted and chopped up and put into a giant grinder, it was Bobbert who led the donkeys round and round, grinding up the mess so that they could later squeeze the liquid out. The donkeys, named Megan and Peg, were her babies. Fermentation and distillation were the most important parts. She was learning from a mezcalera named Carmen how to do it right, and Carmen liked to teach by singing. At night, after working the mezcal, Bobbert slept well, dreaming in Spanish sometimes. She thought about the world. She pondered life. With all that work on the farm, she had lost 15 pounds. She felt energetic. But she still missed Marge.
Get down here!
She told Marge on the phone.
We need your help in the kitchen. Celadine is not that good of a cook.
This was not entirely true. Celadine made some tasty rice and beans, and her salads were excellent. But she was unable to roll a decent pie crust.
We love you. We need you.
Marge grunted.
I'm really needed here in Alabama. You would not believe how much. These people here do not understand the difference between legal and the right thing to do.
You got that right.
Said Bobbert.
But Mexicans make plenty of mistakes too. Maybe you could teach them a thing or two about justice.
They've got a woman president.
Said Marge.
That's one step in the right direction.
The men need to take a lot more steps.
Said Bobbert.
I got my bottom pinched in the marketplace the other day. And thank goodness the drug bosses leave us alone. We give them plenty of free mezcal.
You take care.
Said Marge.
I'm waiting for you here in Anniston. Yesterday I made some peach pies.
Bobbert went to sleep that night, salivating over the peach pies. Marge took commands really well about where to touch, how much, and how long. It was like rolling out a pie crust. She thought about Marge touching her body all over and came like a trumpet thinking about her. In the city or in the country, there was no stopping the neediness of her body. And Oaxaca was a sexy place, due to the sounds and smells of the countryside and the blood-red colors of its art. The Mixtec women she knew were all married to men. Carmen, the mezcal queen, was single, however. Her English was inferior, but not her short, compact body. Maybe Bobbert could volunteer to give her lessons in English, love sonnets in exchange for fermentation secrets. Getting naked in a mezcal barn while the men were out planting the fields, for example, was a good idea. The thought was intoxicating. November 27th, Celadine and Bunny prepared some chicken burritos and homemade salsa as a special dish. They also had tomato salad, rice and beans, and a couple of potato pies. Mezcal, too. It wasn't Thanksgiving exactly. That was a U.S. holiday, and the country had sadly fallen into a military state. But they were giving thanks for the harvest in Mexico. Oliver and Peebles hugged everyone before they took a seat together at the round table in the big house. Diesel and Honey were also sitting side by side.
We are all grateful for this year's harvest of potatoes and tomatoes,
said Oliver.
And Peebles' cochineal tour has taken off.
This year, for the first time, said Peebles, we are making good money on the mezcal, and I really want to thank Bobbert for her help. My podcast is getting more ads, said Lavinia. Thanks to everyone for having me here.
And I'm so glad Honey and Diesel are here with us now,
said Bobbert.
And we especially want to thank Celadine and Bunny for this damn good cooking. Everybody dig in.
The table of 8 cheered before passing around the salad and the platter of burritos, followed by the tureen of salsa.
I sure do miss Marge,
said Bobbert, laying a hand on Peebles' arm. Mother does what she wants, said Peebles, shaking his head. Having you here with us is a good thing.
It's a blessing,
said Oliver. Bobbert sincerely hoped this was true. She could never replace Marge, but maybe she had other strengths on her own. Bobbert power. Let's have a song, said Peebles. Bobbert picked up her trombone. Bobbert was learning to appreciate the mezcal's music as it fermented. Carmen said the right way to gauge the fermentation was to listen to the burbling and bubbling of the chopped up, ground up agave. She needed to make a pass at Carmen, give it a try, but the woman was so much younger and so much better looking. No need for Carmen to lose another 35 pounds. She managed to be short and fit at the same time. Bobbert's expectations for sex were very low. The next day in the fermentation barn, Bobbert was wearing her best bejeweled jeans. Carmen was hanging her head over the big container, listening to the mashed up agave for fermentation sounds. She wore some tight jeans herself, and Bobbert was tempted to caress her bottom as it stuck out. But as she approached, she thought better of it, and instead put an arm around Carmen's shoulder. Carmen stood up and smiled.
Buenos dias, señora.
Buenos dias.
Carmen's easy, sunny smile and silky hair wrapped in a neat ponytail put Bobbert in mind of Marge's scary frown and the tactile ridges of her black and brown hair that only grew up and out and had to be tamed, but not really. Marge's eyes could pierce you through the heart, and there was no getting around that Bobbert missed her.
Necesitamos terminar el mezcal antes de Navidad para poder viajar a Estados Unidos. Quiero visitarlo.
¿En serio?
Sí, pero volveré.
Christmas time, winter solstice. That was when she would go back to visit Marge. The end. Do. And everybody, we hope you will listen next time and have a good holiday season. Arrivederci.
Adios.
Arrivederci. Ciao. A presto.